There we go.
Shalom Uvracha. For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Yehuda Frischman. I've been teaching over the last year from the beginning of Tomer Devorah and from the beginning of Surat Omer. We learned together the different sfirot and how they apply to us and how we can use applying the different sfirot to our preparation for the giving of the Torah. And so we finished over the last week with Matan Torah. We finished Malchut. And the whole essence of Malchut, as we said, was making oneself null, melding and blending with Hashem so that we make ourselves vessels to be able to receive Hashem's light and to be able to cause His presence to dwell in our world. Ourselves being a kisei and a merkava to the Shekhinah, a throne and a vehicle, a chariot for the Shekhinah. So now it's after Shavuot. It's anticlimactic. We've received the Torah. What do we do now? Before Shavuot, I was privileged to read an amazing analysis from the Holy Bat Ayin, whose grave I merited to visit with members of the Alshech community last week. The Bat Ayin, Rav Avram Dovber ben David, longed and dreamed to join the Jews of Europe to come to Tzfat. And it was with tremendous hardship that he came. He never had any children, but his children were the people of Tzfat. And it was through him, as our dear friend Rav Yosef Stefansky said, it was through him that the community of Tzfat was never demoralized and never fell apart. And there was a great miracle that happened in his shul as a result of the great earthquake. Those who davened next to him survived, and the shul survived to this day. So the Bat Ayin, as the name of his sefer is called, by the way, he was discouraged by his Rebbe, the Chernobyler Maggid. He was discouraged from calling his sefer Bat Ayin because the Chernobyler Rebbe said that the author of the sefer Bat Ayin will not have children. And he encouraged him to call it instead Sefer Toldot Adam, because his name was Avraham Dov, which is Adam. So, but he called it Bat Ayin. Anyway, the question that I just asked, he asked, what do we do? What do we get from Shavuot? How can we get any more anticlimactic than receiving the Torah at Har Sinai? It doesn't get any. This is an event which never is going to occur in the history of mankind. This is a divine revelation, unlike other divine systems, so to speak. There wasn't a revelation to one man, and there wasn't revelation to a handful of disciples or apostles. There was 3 million people, men, women, and children, who all received the Torah and heard Hashem say, I am Hashem, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Don't place any other gods before me. They heard those two dibrot with their ears. It was a physical perception with all their proprioceptors, all of their different senses. They heard and they felt Hashem speak to them. The gematria, by the way, for Torah, if you do the math, is 611. Because Torah tziva lanu Moshe. The Torah, Moshe taught us. He commanded us. 611 of the mitzvahs we heard from Moshe. But the other two, making 613, came directly from Hashem. That's why Torah is 611. So the question is, we asked the question. The question is, where do we go from here? We have the Torah. How do we maintain the life and the enthusiasm always? So the Bat Ayin asks the most amazing question. He says that when Moshe came to Har Sinai and prepared the Jews, they came in the month of Sivan, and he said, prepare yourself and tomorrow to receive the Torah. What did Moshe say? Hashem, can maybe I add another day? What is this business, adding another day? Hashem tells you, prepare for 2 days, and then you'll get the Torah. Why a third day? And the Bat Ayin brings down a beautiful Gemara from Pesachim. The Gemara says as follows. Rav Yosef biyoma da'atzerto avdile egla tilta. That Rav Yosef, one of the great scholars of the Gemara, on the day of Atzeret, Atzeret is the name that's given in the Gemara to Shavuot. Shavuot has 3 names: Chag HaBikurim, Chag HaShavuot, and Atzeret. And just parenthetically, I don't want to go through the whole Bat Ayin because it's a very, very long Torah, but it's very, very beautiful. He mentions there is a connection between Atzeret, which comes after Pesach, and Atzeret, which comes after Sukkot. After Sukkot, we have Shmini Atzeret, and after Pesach, we have Atzeret. Atzeret means either stop, or ingathering, or collection. And the truth is that both times on Sukkot, we have a remarkable holiday of abundance where we feel Hashem's presence. The Shekhinah dwells in the Sukkah. Sukkah is the gematria of the same number as Malach, as Hashem, as the presence of Hashem. Hashem is in the Sukkah. I've been by tzaddikim who the whole time were looking at the schach. You could see they were looking at angels. There's no question about it. The Shekhinah is in the Sukkah. And so after 7 days of Sukkot, and all the carbonot, there are 70 carbonot that are brought for all the 70 peoples of the world, then it's time to go back to your home, to your farm, to Galut if you live in Galut. And Hashem says, wait, please, my beloved people, stay back, Atzeret, 1 day, and let me make a small meal with you. Let me have a special private yontiv with you and me. And that was Shmini Atzeret. And that's also Simchat Torah, because Hashem's presence and any kind of joy we have is incomplete without the Torah. That's why Simchat Torah, the joy of Torah, comes after Sukkot. And the same thing when Hashem brings us out of Mitzrayim. He helps us and He causes us, but it's much more difficult than with Sukkot. With Sukkot, we're taken by Hashem into this wonderful fortress called the Sukkah, and we suddenly have Ruach HaKodesh. Sukkah is from the Lashon Sichuch Ruach HaKodesh. And so, of course, we can reach a very high level very quickly. For Pesach, we have to work hard. We have to climb 49 rungs until we can reach the other Atzeret, the other ingathering, which is Sukkot. So getting back to this beautiful Gemara. Rav Yosef b'yom be'atzarta avdela eglet lasa. That on the day of Atzeret, Rav Yosef made a special third-born calf, the Amar, a special meal, Ilav v'ha if not for this day, Tekagarim kama Yosef ika b'shika. There would be many Yosefs in the marketplace. In other words, if not for this day of Shavuos, I'd just be another Joe. I'd just be another Yosef. He asked two questions. Number one, the day that he is calling Atzeret, was that the day the Jews got the Torah? No. We didn't get the Torah on the day we celebrate it every year. We did not get the Torah on the 6th of Sivan, because Moshe added a 7th day. We get it on the 7th of Sivan. So what is Rabbi Yosef talking about? That if not for this day, I would be nothing. Second of all, why is this called Atzeret? And why is this called Zman Matan Toratenu? Why is this the time of the giving of the Torah when the giving of the Torah was really the next day? What's going on? And the answer the Bat Ayin gives is an amazing answer. The Ari HaKodesh, our neighbor here, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai in the Holy Zohar, teach us that any mitzvah that is not done without ahava and yira, if we don't do a mitzvah not out of complete love of Hashem and not without complete fear and awe and trembling of Hashem, will not have a lasting endurance, will not have a kiyum. What was missing? And the answer ties into what Rabbi Yosef says here. When Moshe added that day, Moshe was very much talking to himself as well as the Bnei Israel. How is Moshe represented in the Torah? Moshe is called many things. He's called Moshe Rabbeinu, our teacher. He's called Moshe Avdi, my servant. Ve'aminu b'Hashem of Moshe Avdo. But there is a description of Moshe that we're going to come to in the next couple of weeks as we're reading Sefer Bamidbar, which is remarkable. It says in the rebellion of Korach, Ve'aish Moshe Anav Mikol Adam al Pnei Ha'adam. How much time do I have? Am I almost done?
No, you have more than 10 minutes.
There's no clock here. It's very difficult to know. No, it's okay. If I know I have 10 minutes, I'm good. Siyata d'Shmaya. That the man Moshe was more modest than any other man on the face of the earth. Moshe considered himself lower than the earth. And what happened with the rebellion of Korach? Korach said, all of the Jewish people are holy. Why do you make yourself into the king? Why do you make Aaron into the Kohen? And the truth was, because they consider themselves as higher than Moshe, and because Moshe considered himself as low as the earth swallowed up Korach and put him below Moshe, below the earth. Because Moshe was so very modest, we say that Moshe epitomizes this midah of anava. Anava, or humility, is completely intertwined with the idea of the earth. As a matter of fact, the Tomer Devorah says that it is forbidden to be disrespectful to one's students and to call them artziut, earthly, so to speak, because of the disrespect which can result in that. One is not allowed to call one's student a chamor, material, for that reason. One must give one's students tremendous, tremendous respect. So Moshe, who considered himself as anav mikol adam al pnei adama, he considered himself as more modest than any man on the face of the earth. And he epitomized this midah of anava. Moshe taught us that maybe we shouldn't get the Torah on the 6th of Sivan. That when we prepare ourselves today and tomorrow, maybe we need to add on a 3rd day. Because with just love and fear of Hashem, there may not be a lasting kiyum. There may not be an everlasting remembrance. We may not be able to keep the Torah. What was the thing that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai said? The Chachamim met with him and they said in Yavne that we are afraid because of the Roman persecution, the Torah will be forgotten from Bnei Yisrael. Rabbi Shimon said the Torah will not be forgotten. And one of the reasons why the Torah wasn't forgotten is there is this seal that rises above b'dechimu rechimoi, ahava and yira, love and fear. Moshe Rabbeinu knew that we needed to add on one more aspect. We needed to add on to receive the Torah not just with love and not just with fear, but with humility. And Moshe put his imprint of humility on it by adding that extra day. And that's why Rav Yosef says that on this day of Atzeret, the day that was added on, not when the Torah was given, but the imprint that makes the Torah eternal. That's what keeps us different. It is the humility that makes us different. It is that extra aspect that Moshe added on that keeps the Jewish people's integrity forever. You know, it's very interesting that when we receive the Torah, we return back to the level of Adam Arishon in Gan Eden. The Gemara says in Brachos that Olam Haba, when it comes to the time when Olam Haba will arrive, which is after Mashiach, there won't be any eating or drinking. There won't be any competition. There won't be any jealousy. There won't be any hatred. There won't be any arrogance, anger. But rather, everyone, all the tzaddikim will sit. And they will have, it doesn't say they'll have crowns on their heads, al rosheim. It says they'll have crowns as part of their heads. Just like we find that there are certain animals that they have horns and they have shofrot. A horn is part of the cow itself. It can't be cut off because the cow will die. A shofar is a different part of the ram. So our Torah, the light that we get from Hashem, will be intrinsically part of us. It'll be in our heads. And what will that come from? It'll come from repairing the damage that was done in Gan Eden. When did all the problems begin? Did the problem begin after Adam and Chava ate from the Eitz Hadat? A little bit afterwards, actually. The real problem, when Hashem said, "What did you do?" And what did Adam say? V'yomer Adam, Isha asher natata imadi. This woman that you gave to me. He not li mina eitz v'achol. She gave me from that tree and I ate. It's her fault. When we stop being in competition with each other, when we stop laying the blame on other people, when we humbly accept everything that is given to us as part of our destiny, why we're in this world. We're in this world to crown Hashem as our king. That's what Malchus Sheba Malchus was all about. That's what we spoke about last week. But again, as I started saying and as I'll conclude, without that element that Moshe added of humility, there can be no permanence of Hashem's kingship. We have to always remember to accept our Torah like Moshe Rabbeinu, to consider ourselves more humble than any person on the face of the earth. Never try to rationalize and justify ourselves. This week's Parsha, Parshas Baloscha, it has, in conclusion, 2 nuns. And the Chazal tell us that those 2 nuns, in which in the middle it says, Vayi bin soa ha'aron vayomer Moshe, kumo Hashem vayafutzu oivecha vayanusu misanecha mipanecha, that the famous verse that we say when we open the Ark on Shabbos, and also uvnucha yomer shiva v'yisrael, and also about the great multitudes, they're put in parentheses, as it were. And the Chazal tell us that the parentheses are really, we think there's 5 books of the Torah. No. There is Bereshit, there is Shmot, there's Vayikra, then there's the first part of Bamidbar until the parentheses. That's 4. Then there's the parentheses themselves that are considered a special Torah. It's a special book by itself. That's 5. Then the whole book of Bamidbar afterwards, 6. And then Devarim. So what is that all about, those parentheses, those 2 reverse nuns that are literally look like parentheses? So the Chazal tell us that it's separating between 2 tribulations. The tribulation from when the Jews left Har Sinai, and the tribulation to all the things that are going to follow with the complainers and Korach and the spies and everybody else. But what's that first tribulation? That it's so interesting also that this is always the week that school ends, Parshas Baloscha, because this is the week in which the Jews ran away from Har Sinai, and the Chazal tell us, like a school child running away from class. They learned the Torah from Hashem. It doesn't get any better than that. But they were edgy. They couldn't do it anymore. And so they ran away. Dear friends, don't be edgy when you learn Torah. Don't be nervous. Be grateful for the opportunity to learn from any of the great speakers and the great teachers in Alshech, all the great teachers of Yisrael. Be patient, be humble, and in the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu, and in the double seal of Ava and Yira that the Holy Bat Ayin talks about, may we always experience Hashem's sweetness and never be edgy.
Stop.